You know, a few years ago, if someone asked me how to get a raise, I would have said work hard, do your job well, help your team, and be someone people can count on. I really thought that was enough. But then I started looking around at work, and something didn't make sense. Some people were getting raises and moving into better positions, but they weren't working any harder than everyone else. And I kept thinking, so what do they know that the rest of us don't? The more I paid attention, the more I realized that getting a raise isn't just about how hard you work. It's also about which skills you build, whether the right people can see your value, and how you position yourself when an opportunity comes up. That's the part nobody really explained to me. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to increase your chances of getting a raise without simply working more hours and hoping your boss eventually notices. The more I paid attention, the more I realized something. The people getting the biggest raises weren't usually the people working the longest hours. They were the people who knew how to increase their value. They built skills that were hard to replace. They made sure people noticed the value they brought. They became the kind of employee other companies would be happy to hire. And once that happens, something changes. Your company isn't paying you more because you worked harder. They're paying you more because they know your value has gone up, and replacing you would cost them even more. That's the difference. A raise isn't a reward for working harder. It's a reflection of how valuable you've become. So I started looking at my own career a little differently. Instead of just working harder, I looked at job postings from other companies doing the same kind of work. I paid attention to what they were asking for. What skills did they want? What software were they using? What certificates kept showing up? And once I saw the same things mentioned again and again, I knew those were the areas I needed to work on. So I started learning them one by one. And that was the first real step I took to increase my value. So if you want to increase your value, the first thing you need to figure out is what the market is actually looking for. And the easiest way to do that is to look at the jobs you want. Go on Indeed or LinkedIn and search for positions similar to yours, or maybe one level above where you are now. Then open a few job postings and start paying attention to what keeps showing up. What skills are they asking for? What software do they want you to know? Are there any certificates they mention more than once? You can also go on LinkedIn and look at people who already have the kind of job you want. Look at their experience. Look at the skills they list. Look at the certificates they have and the kind of projects they've worked on. You're not trying to copy one person, you're looking for patterns. Because when the same skill shows up in 10 different job postings or on the profiles of several successful people in your field, that's usually a good sign that the market values it. And that's where I would start. Not by taking random courses or collecting certificates just to add something to my resume. I would focus on the skills that companies are already asking people to pay for. Then I would compare that list with what I already know and ask myself, where are the gaps? Those gaps show you what you need to learn next. Now don't make the mistake of trying to learn everything at once. Once you have your list, look for the skills you can build the fastest. Maybe it's a software program you can learn in a few weeks. Maybe it's a certificate you can finish in a month or two. Start with the things that give you the biggest return in the shortest amount of time. Because the goal isn't to spend the next year studying. The goal is to increase your value as quickly as you can. Once you build a few of those skills, you're already in a much stronger position to ask for a raise, or even apply for a better paying job somewhere else. Now let's say you've done all of that. You've learned a few new skills, maybe you've finished a course, maybe you even earned a certificate. Here's the mistake a lot of people make. They keep all of that to themselves, and then a few months later they're wondering why nobody notices that they've improved. One thing I've started doing is sharing those things on LinkedIn. Every time I finish a course or learn something that's actually useful for my career, I'll write a short post about it. Nothing fancy. I just talk about what I learned, why I decided to learn it, and how I think it's going to help me become better at what I do. The reason I do that isn't because I'm trying to get more likes or followers. Honestly, I don't really care about that. I do it because I want people around me to see that I'm investing in myself. I want my coworkers, people in my industry, and hopefully even my manager to know that I'm not the same person I was 6 months ago. Think about it for a second. If nobody knows you've been improving, how are they supposed to see you as someone who's ready for more responsibility? Sometimes getting a raise isn't just about becoming more valuable. It's also about making sure the people around you can actually see that value. Now let's talk about something that almost nobody does, but I think it makes a huge difference. Start keeping track of your work. I'm serious. Every week, write down what you worked on, what problems you solved, what projects you finished, and any extra responsibilities you took on. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It can be a simple note on your phone, a Word document, or even an Excel file. The important thing is that you don't rely on your memory. The reason this matters is because a few months from now, you're probably going to forget half of what you've done, and your manager is even more likely to forget. They're busy, they're managing different people, and unless you remind them, most of your work just becomes part of the routine. Now imagine you're sitting in a meeting asking for a raise. Instead of saying, I think I've been working really hard, you can say, over the last 3 months, I completed these projects, I took on these extra responsibilities, and I solved these problems. That's a completely different conversation because you're not talking about your opinion anymore. You're talking about facts. One more thing I do is keep your HR file up to date. If you earn a new certificate or complete a course that's relevant to your job, send HR a quick email and ask them to add it to your employee file. It only takes a minute, but over time it builds a record that shows you're continuing to grow. Now, before you ever sit down and ask for a raise, there's one more thing I do. Don't start with your boss. Start with the person you work with every day. Maybe it's your supervisor. Maybe it's your project manager. They're the people who see your work up close, and they're usually the first ones to notice whether you're improving or not. Every once in a while, ask them for feedback. Ask them questions like, what do you think I should get better at? Or if you were in my position, what skill would you focus on next? Those are simple questions, but they do two things at the same time. They help you learn what's actually valuable, and they also show that you're serious about growing. Now imagine doing that consistently for 3 or 4 months. Every few weeks you're learning something new, taking their feedback seriously, and coming back better than before. Eventually they stop seeing you as the person they hired. They start seeing you as someone who's growing faster than everyone expected. And here's why that matters. When the time comes to talk about raises or promotions, your supervisor is often the person whose opinion carries the most weight. If they already believe you've become more valuable, they're much more likely to support you when those conversations happen. By the time you sit down with the manager who makes the final decision, you're not trying to convince a stranger. Someone inside the company has already been making that case for you. Now let's say it's been 4, 5, or maybe 6 months. If you've actually done everything we've talked about, you're probably not the same person you were 6 months ago. You've completed more projects, you've learned new skills, you've earned a few certificates, and you've gained experience that you simply didn't have before. At that point, I think it's time to sit down with your manager and have a real conversation. When you walk into that meeting, don't tell them you've been working hard. Everybody says they work hard. Instead, bring evidence. Show them the projects you've completed. Show them the extra responsibilities you've taken on. Show them the courses you've finished and the certificates you've earned. Walk them through everything you've done over the last 6 months and let the facts speak for themselves. And don't forget something that's easy to overlook. Every project you've worked on has made you more valuable. Maybe 6 months ago you had never managed that type of project before. Now you've done it. You've solved real problems. You've learned from real situations. And that experience now belongs to you. Nobody can take that away. Whether you stay at your current company or move to another one someday, those projects have increased your market value. That's why this conversation shouldn't be about how long you've been with the company. It should be about how much more value you bring today compared to 6 months ago. A good manager understands that those are two very different things. Then be clear about what you're asking for. If you're making $70,000 and based on the value you've built and the market you've researched, you believe you're worth 90, then ask for 90. Don't ask for 75 if that's not the number you actually want. The company may negotiate, and that's completely normal. But if you ask with confidence and you can back it up with real results, you're having a business conversation, not an emotional one. At the end of the day, the company has a decision to make. They can invest a little more to keep someone who already understands their business, their systems, and their clients, or they can spend months hiring and training someone new. That's why becoming more valuable before you ask for a raise gives you so much more leverage than simply asking because you need more money. One last thing before we finish. Don't get discouraged if your company says no. At the end of the day, you can't control their budget, their policies, or the decisions they make. Some companies simply aren't in a position to pay more, even if they know you're worth it. But here's the good news. Everything you've done over the last few months is still yours. The skills you've learned, the certificates you've earned, the projects you've completed, and the experience you've gained all increase your value in the job market. Nobody can take that away from you. And if your current company isn't willing to pay you what you're worth, there's a good chance another company will. That's why I always focus on increasing my value first, because once your market value goes up, you have more options. You're no longer hoping one company says yes, you have choices. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, because in the next videos we're going to go a lot deeper. I'll show you how to negotiate a higher salary, how to get promoted faster, how to switch companies for a bigger pay increase, and how to build a career that gives you more opportunities instead of just more work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.